We always see snapshots of people's best glow up times of their lives, the achievements, the highs, the things we want to celebrate. But I don't want to talk about that today. I want to talk about the unfiltered, the messy, raw, real moments in life that we all have that we don't always feel as comfortable to show. After all, it is these moments in life that truly shape us. And as someone with anxiety and depression, I know that feeling all too well. I promise you, if you've ever had these thoughts and felt alone, you're not, and I want to talk about it today. So in honour of all that, what better way to start than with myself and exposing my unaesthetic, my raw, real moments where I've struggled and it's real and it's not pretty. Let's talk into it. I'm going to talk about one that I have been really bad at recently, one that's currently under a lot of stress, and that is replying to people. Replying to my friends, my family, the group chat. I am awful at replying to people. Now, I know myself, if I don't get a reply from someone, I start to worry. So I am a huge hypocrite for this. But the reality is that sometimes it's not something they've done wrong. You're not upset, you're mad, you're just too overwhelmed to get back to them. You're too overstimulated to have to think about a conversation that you just don't have the brain energy for. It's not that you don't love them or that you don't care, it's that it's just a bit too much at the moment, and that's okay. Another one that I will definitely hold my hands up for is that I'll be able to get through the workday really well, but when it comes to coming home, I crash. I can't be one of those people that goes and does things after work a lot of the time. I can't be one of those people that has a million things to do after work. Sometimes when I get back from placement, I am just mentally exhausted and I can't focus, and you will not see me going on a run. You will not see me doing those necessarily healthy habits that would probably make me feel better. The reality is that sometimes the best thing that I need for myself in that moment is to sit down on the sofa, have a cup of tea, and just binge watch some telly, and at the moment that's been Grey's Anatomy. On another topic of something that's definitely not Pinterest worthy, but is all over my Pinterest board, is the time that I get up in the morning. So I created a Pinterest board at the start of the year, kind of like a vision board-esque thing of what I wanted my year to look like. And a big part of that included a lot of sunrises, a lot of 6 a.m. alarm clocks, just wanting to get up as early as I could on my days off, obviously when I didn't have to get up, so I could really embrace the day and make the most of it. And whilst I have tried to stick to that a little bit, life gets in the way. It can't always be that pretty aesthetic, healthy routine. Sometimes health looks different, and sometimes health looks like snoozing that alarm too many times to count until eventually you give up and just wake up when you want to, because sometimes that's what you need. The way I try to think of it is, what does my brain need versus what does my heart need? My brain wants to fit onto the plan of the Pinterest board. My brain wants to really kind of make the most of the time that I have at the weekend and to be doing all these things. But what does my heart want? Well, my heart is telling me that I'm exhausted. My heart is telling me that a couple more hours in bed would do a world of good, and my heart is telling me to just snooze that alarm, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect all the time. You don't have to be perfect all the time. That's kind of part of human life, and there's no rules to how you should live, no rules to what healthy is to you, and there's no rules of what kind of life picture you should create for yourself. Sleeping in for a couple of extra hours on a Saturday is not going to be detrimental to the rest of your life. I think that's something we can get caught up on sometimes. You know myself, I will panic a lot about, oh, like that's it now, I've ruined my day, this is it, like I had a rubbish weekend, I've not achieved anything. And that's all about what is achievement, because achievement really is different for everyone. Achievement is reaching a goal, and yes, I might not have achieved getting up at the time that I set, but what did I achieve? Well, I achieved the ability to put myself first and to follow my heart and to know what's best for my body, my mind, and that is a massive achievement in itself that is always overlooked. I think that's something that we can take away from kind of dissecting our unfiltered life moments, is that actually we are doing a lot more than we think we are. Not giving ourselves credit for it, because it's not something that we would put on social media and expect to get rounds of applauses for, or we'd expect to get like certificates for or well dones for. And because we shy away from celebrating that achievement, it feels like we've not really made anything or achieved anything for ourselves, when actually there's been so many things that we've done and that we do that might not be as pretty or as aesthetic or as grand in the eyes of society as we'd like them to be, but it doesn't mean they're not as worthy and they're not as incredible. There's an unfiltered life moment I really wanted to get into in this video because I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like there's a lot of people that could benefit from hearing this. And that is that sometimes I just cry. Sometimes I just cry, and half the time I don't necessarily know what's triggered it. It's a lot of pushing things back, pretending that I'm fine, and then finding out that I'm not fine and I've hit a wall and my emotions have taken over. And I cry. And I cry over big things and I cry over little things. I cry over happy things and sad things, and I cry over things that other people wouldn't cry over, and that's okay. Again, we need to get to a point with ourselves where we can validate our emotions, where actually I did a task, for example, I did something at work a couple of years ago and I done it really well, but I didn't get the feedback that I was hoping for. Nothing to do with me. The person just wasn't actually a very nice person. And I spoke to my friends and my colleagues about it afterwards, and a lot of them were like, oh, just ignore them. That's just like, they're just being a not very nice person. They're just trying to put you down. Don't worry about it. That's not something that I can do very well. And I will hold my hands up to that. Another unfiltered moment in my life is that I take things to heart, and I can sometimes struggle with just brushing something off, and that's something that I'm definitely working on, but it's something that I do struggle with. And I remember coming back, and those words that I was told about my kind of strength and resilience, which again were not relevant to the conversation or what I'd done at all, it just seemed a bit of a personal attack. All of these things just hit me to a certain extent, still do, because I can still recall the moment, and I can recall getting in my car and crying and just feeling like my world was crumbling down over someone's words. And it was a very low kind of moment in my life where I'd spent a lot of time building myself up just to kind of have it destroyed. And yeah, like I said, it has stuck with me, and it's something that I still think about because I look back at how kind of weak I was made to feel, and it does still affect me. And there is a vulnerable part of me that knows that I still feel affected by those words, and I still feel things, and I still cry about things that have been said in the past that aren't relevant to my life now and the person that I am now, and that's okay, because again, these are all your personal experiences that have like chipped at different parts of your body and your soul and made you into the person that you are. So if you need to express your emotions by crying, please don't feel like you need to hold that in, and don't feel like it has to be something that you think people will deem worthy of crying over. Because there's no rules, there's no guidelines as to what's appropriate to cry over. If you need to get those emotions out, you should. And if something's hurt you or something's stuck with you, or even if in a good way or a bad way, it's okay to still kind of bring those moments back to center and to really kind of reflect on that time and the person that you were. And it might not be something, again, that you'd be posting on social media about, because it might not seem as kind of that perfect, I'm moving on, I'm getting on with my life, and I've completely moved past all of these things, because not everyone can do that. And if you can do it, it can still take a long time, and again, that's okay. You're allowed to take time to really reflect on the things that have shaped you, that have hurt you, that have healed you, that have made you happy, made you sad, that have frustrated you. Even if that thing is done and dusted, say you had an argument with a friend that really, really hurt you, you can make up that you can still have moments where those words, those actions will hurt you, and they will come back to surface and they will sting. And that's also okay. It's about reflecting and realizing what we've learned from it, and accepting ourselves as we are, to really absorb those emotions, to be proud of the fact that we are able to feel, and be grateful of the fact that we're able to feel these things as human beings, and also just reflecting again on how far you've come in that moment, to be able to sit and to cry about something, feel those emotions, and to ultimately continue with our lives, continue with our days. That takes courage and that takes a lot of strength, and it's really just remarkable, but we don't give ourselves credit for that. All I'm going to talk about today, these are just some unfiltered life moments that I think sometimes we need to hear as human beings, and sometimes we need to know that we're not alone in feeling that way, and sometimes you just need to be told it's okay to cry. If you found this helpful, please let me know what other topics you'd like to hear about, or anything else in general you want to hear, and I will see you next time if something's useful that you might want to hear.